When getting into 20th century music, one of the major things to talk about is the 12-tone row. The 12-tone row. Okay? And a 12-tone row is really simple. All you have to do is take all your notes and use them randomly. So if we use the sharp version of all the notes, we can call this C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, E sharp, or F, I guess, right? F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, and finally B. Again, if we continue, we would have C, right? So here we have all the notes, and instead of labeling them as this, because you could have like, get a different color. Instead of C sharp, you could also call it D flat. You could also call it what, B double sharp. But instead of using these notes, we use things called set notation. I'll write this over here. Set notation. And set notation makes it so everything is as a certain pitch class. And the pitch classes are labeled like this. Let me get one more color here. This would be a 0. A C is always 0. And you write it like this with these open brackets. All your pitches that you want, and then close it with the bracket like that. Okay, so this is 0. This one is 1. This one is 2. This one's 3. This one's 4. This one's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then when it gets to here, there's several ways to do this. One of the easiest ways is to go 10 and 11. But that looks really weird, especially if you use set notation and you want like a C and then an A sharp, and it looks like this. And it's like, well, is that C A sharp, or is that C sharp back to C? Like, is it 0 10 or 0 1 0, right? So you could go ahead and use commas like this, and that really makes it clear. But the easiest way is to simply use a letter for this. So one way to do this, what I like to do, is simply use A and B. Now this is a little strange. People don't like this sometimes because B is B, but A is not A. Okay, so A would be A sharp, and that gets a little confusing. Another way that you could label these is T and E. You might be wondering why T and E, and it's literally because 10 and 11. I didn't make this up. I know it's not the most interesting thing, but it's used, I promise. So I'm going to stick with A and B, okay? Remember that A is not A. They work like this, and then B is B, okay? So be careful. Okay, so when making a tone row, we're actually going to make a tone row now. To make a tone row, all you have to do is use these notes one at a time in a random order. Okay, so for example, you might say, well, let's just write it up here. We'll go D, and I'll cross these off. So D, we can go F, and you try to stay away from like sonorities that make sense. Like D, F, A would be a bad choice because that just sounds like you're playing D minor, right? So let's go something else. Maybe D, F, C sharp, C sharp. Okay, and you just make this up as you go, just random order of all the notes. Maybe a C, maybe a G, G sharp here. We got A sharp. Let's go up to B. There we go. Okay, like that. And then we finally have D sharp and then maybe A. Okay, so that is our tone row. If you want to know what this sounds like, if we were to play this, maybe we can do this really nicely in 1 octave. Usually you would jump around a lot more than this, but we can go ahead and write this out and I'll play it for you. Don't expect this to sound nice. Also in this notation, you don't have to write a natural sign again. Because we know we're in the chromatic scale, if it doesn't have a sharp or a flat, it's automatically going to be treated as natural, okay? So don't worry too much about that. If it makes you feel better, maybe I'll throw a couple, just in case, a couple natural signs. We should have enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're missing, we crossed this off. We're missing the F sharp, okay. There we go. And then all these are used. Okay, so we got all that. So B would be here. D sharp would be here, A, and then F sharp. Okay, so if you have all these, and let me go ahead and write the natural signs just in case people are a little skeptical. G is good, A needs a 1 here, and that should be okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this. Okay, the beauty of a tone row. Okay, so these are tone rows. Because they use a chromatic scale, they don't really sound like anything, and that's kind of the point. Back when they were making these, They wanted to get away from national sounding music, things that sounded like that you could actually could be used for something like imagine your favorite jingle or patriotic song, especially that would be used to represent ideas and big movements. People started saying, hey, you're using my music to represent something I didn't want. Can you not do that? And the way they did that is to make music that sounded a little bit more difficult to use, where people would listen to it and say, oh, I don't want to I don't want to use this for my product, okay, or my campaign or something like that. Okay, so what you can do instead is instead of keeping it in one octave, you can go crazy and do this kind of thing. Okay, and this is a tone row. Once you finish your tone row, you can then use a different tone row or even the same one. It doesn't really matter. And what you can do instead is you can use the same note many times in a row, but as soon as you leave that note, maybe this is a triplet, as soon as you leave that note, for example, this is the D here, as soon as you leave the note, you have to go to the next one, and you can't come back to it until you finish the tone row. Okay, so those are the rules. And if you do this, this is called serialism. Serialism means to use everything together. Okay, you're using everything, all the colors of the rainbow in the chromatic scale to make your tone row. So let me go ahead and make a couple more things here. Maybe this is da 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 da, like that, and then this is a C sharp here. Maybe the E is down here. Again, you can use the bass clef. It doesn't matter. You can throw the C down here, the next C here. Okay, so you can go crazy. Maybe this is going to be eighth notes. Let me go ahead and write eighth notes. Okay, so right away, instead of just the normal here, where this was. Okay, now you got like this kind of thing. Okay, now you got more interesting stuff than just closed octave sonorities. Okay, and this would continue as however you please. And that's how you write tone rows, okay? So go ahead and make your own tone row. Usually what you want to do is stay away from just like the chromatic scale. Technically, if you just did all of these in order, this is a tone row, but it's a very boring one. Or another one you could do that would be more interesting, but still not quite tone row-esque, because it sounds like something, is if you were to take maybe a C major scale, C, D, E, oops, that's not C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we can go ahead and use this one. Okay, so and then you use everything in between, so maybe C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. This is technically a tone row, but it sounds like you're putting a major scale with the inverse pentatonic scale, which would sound like this. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to ignore this C, right? We can't double the C. Okay, so anyway, I played it correctly. Okay, technically this is a tone row, but again, it's not very interesting. You want to make it so it sounds very dissonant and very disjunct and not like anything else you know. Okay, so good luck making your tone rows.